Sydney's time is there!
America was on the verge of defeat until Sydney McLaughlin shattered every doubt. With pressure mounting and her season in question, she didn't just win the world title. She recreated her own world record in one of the most dominant performances track and field has ever seen. This was a comeback that rewrote history. The 2022 World Championships at Hayward Field in Eugene carried enormous pressure. Home crowd expectations weighed heavily on the American team, and Sydney's inconsistent 2022 season leading up to the event had many questioning whether she could deliver when it mattered most. The venue had been renovated between 2018 and 2020, creating a state-of-the-art facility that demanded nothing less than perfection. The competition threat was real and immediate. Femke Bol from the Netherlands had emerged as a rising European star with serious speed, clocking a European record of 52.03 seconds at the Tokyo Olympics. Dalilah Muhammad, Sydney's own teammate, entered as the defending world champion with a championship record of 52.16 seconds set at the 2019 World Athletics Championships. The field was stacked with 37 athletes from 26 nations competing in the first round, and this wasn't going to be easy. Sydney already held the world record at 51.41 seconds, which she had set at the 2022 USA Outdoor Track and Field Championships on June 25, 2022. However, her form and fitness remained questionable throughout the season. Media and experts predicted a close, unpredictable race, with many believing the American dominance in this event could finally be challenged on home soil. The race progression told a fascinating story of building momentum. In round 1 on July 19th, Sydney ran a cautious 53.95 seconds in the first heat, clearly playing it safe and conserving energy. She qualified second overall behind Femke Bol's 53.90 seconds, signaling that the Dutch athlete meant business. 24 athletes advanced to the semifinals, including strong performances from Dalilah Muhammad at 54.45 seconds and Jamaica's Janieve Russell at 54.52 seconds. The semifinals on July 20th changed everything. Sydney delivered a statement run of 52.17 seconds in the third heat, dominating her competition and sending a clear message that she was ready. Femke Bol responded with 52.84 seconds in the second heat, while Dalilah Muhammad secured her spot with 53.28 seconds. The performances were building towards something special, with several athletes setting personal bests and national records in their pursuit of the final. Gianna Woodruff of Panama set a South American record of 53.69 seconds to qualify for the final, while Vivi Lehikonen of Finland and Ayomide Folorunso of Italy both set national records but failed to advance. The intensity was building, and only 8 athletes from 5 nations would compete in the final on July 22nd. The final field analysis revealed the depth of competition. Lane assignments placed the fastest qualifiers in the center lanes, with race strategy becoming crucial for each athlete. The weight of expectation hung heavy in the evening air at 1950 UTC-7 as the field prepared for what would become one of the greatest performances in track and field history. The race evolved with surgical precision. After the first 100 meters, Sydney McLaughlin had established an early lead over the field, followed closely by Dalilah Muhammad and Femke Bol. The pace was aggressive from the start, with Sydney maintaining her trademark smooth stride pattern over the hurdles. In the second 100 meters, Sydney continued to lead the race decisively. Bol had managed to pass Muhammad, moving into second position, but Sydney's lead was already becoming substantial. Her technique remained flawless under the intense pressure, each hurdle clearance perfectly timed and executed. The final 200 meters of the race witnessed something extraordinary. McLaughlin, Bol, and Muhammad maintained their positions, but Sydney began to separate from the field in a way that defied belief. Her stride pattern remained consistent, her hurdle technique perfect, and her speed seemed to increase rather than diminish as the race progressed. Sydney crossed the finish line in 50.68 seconds, improving her own world record by 0.73 seconds. The margin of victory was a staggering 1.59 seconds ahead of second place, representing the largest relative margin in any track world record at that time. John Mulkeen of World Athletics calculated that the margin between McLaughlin's time and that of the next fastest athlete was 1.78%, the largest relative margin of all track world records. Femke Bol finished second in 52.27 seconds, equaling her season's best performance, while Dalilah Muhammad claimed bronze in 53.13 seconds with the season's best time. The performance was so dominant that it left even seasoned track and field experts struggling for words. Scott Cacciola of the New York Times wrote that McLaughlin broke the world record for the fourth time in 2 years, demolishing a deep and decorated field. Amy Tenery of Reuters described it as McLaughlin producing one of the greatest track performances of all time by shattering her own 400 meters hurdles world record. Scott M. Reed of the Orange County Register considered the performance worthy of the sport's ultimate compliment, Beeman-esque, comparing it to Bob Beeman's legendary long jump world record. The technical brilliance of the performance cannot be overstated. Sydney maintained a perfect stride pattern throughout the race, executing flawless hurdle technique under enormous pressure. The race progressed exactly as planned with her coach Bobby Kersey, demonstrating the months of preparation and strategic planning that went into this moment. In her post-race interview, Sydney reflected on the achievement. The time is absolutely amazing, and the sport is getting faster and faster. Just figuring out what barriers can be broken. I only get faster from here. I executed the race the way Bobby wanted me to. I knew coming home that if I just kept my cadence and stayed on stride pattern, we could do it, and it happened. Femke Bol, despite finishing second, showed respect for the historic performance. I ran against the best in the world. Sydney is just very strong. She was so far in front at the end, so I was always doubting if I really had a good race because it felt very good. Then I saw the time, and I was like, wow, it is amazing to be a part of it and to come out second in such a race. Dalilah Muhammad expressed mixed emotions about her bronze medal finish. I'm having mixed emotions, to be honest. It's great to get a medal, but I came into these championships on the strength of having always gotten a medal at any championships, despite any injuries. But as a competitor, you always want more. This represented Sydney's fourth world record in 2 years, cementing her status as the greatest 400-meter hurdler in history. The performance inspired a new generation of athletes and demonstrated what was possible when talent, preparation, and opportunity aligned perfectly. The immediate impact extended beyond athletics. Media coverage exploded globally, with competitors and teammates expressing their awe at witnessing history. The performance reasserted American dominance in track and field precisely when it was being questioned, setting new standards for future competitions and inspiring countless young hurdlers worldwide. When America needed a hero, Sydney McLaughlin became a legend, proving that sometimes the greatest moments emerge exactly when no one sees them coming.
Sat in the blocks a little bit longer though. Gout Gout did not want to tempt fate. He gets up on Oos. He's out there a little bit wider now. Is Aidan Murphy, but here comes Gout Gout. We knew we'd see this in the final 50, so let's watch the young superstar rise. He's flying. He will be Gout of this universe. Unbelievable 2.2.
He's just 17, but he's already running faster than most Olympians ever will. Gout Gout's 19.84-second 200-meter sprint didn't just break the clock, it broke expectations. On April 13, 2025, at the Australian Athletics Championships in Perth, something happened that stunned everyone. A 17-year-old sprinter from Queensland, Gout Gout, shocked the crowd with his incredible 200-meter run. He crossed the finish line in just 19.84 seconds. That time alone was amazing, but the fact that it came from a teenager made it even more unbelievable. There was a plus 2.2 meters per second tailwind helping him, which is slightly above the legal limit for records, but still, his speed was unreal. It wasn't just about how fast he ran, but how he ran. Smooth, powerful, and almost effortless. Usually, sprinting is ruled by athletes in their mid-20s, but that day, this teenager showed that he isn't just the future of sprinting. He's already making his mark right now. Before Perth, hardly anyone knew who Gout Gout was, but that changed overnight. Born in 2007 to South Sudanese parents who moved to Australia, Gout grew up in Logan, a suburb south of Brisbane that's known more for rugby league than track stars. His family's journey has been all about resilience and new beginnings, and now Gout is becoming the brightest part of their story. Standing almost 6 feet 3 inches tall with long legs and a strong stride, Gout was always fast, even before he started sprinting seriously. Teachers and friends noticed how quickly he could accelerate, whether he was playing soccer or just running in PE class. Soon, coaches saw his potential and guided him towards athletics. He started proper training in his early teens, and by the time he was 15, he was already running 200 meters in under 21 seconds. But still, no one, not even those who believed in him the most, expected what he did in April 2025. Breaking the barrier with wind at his back, Gout's 19.84-second sprint didn't count as an official record because of the slight tailwind, but honestly, that didn't matter. For a 17-year-old to run that fast, even with some wind help, is almost unheard of. To give you an idea, the world record for under 18 athletes in the 200 meters is 20.13 seconds, set by Usain Bolt. Even Bolt didn't break 20 seconds until he turned 18. And it wasn't just about Gout's time. He completely crushed the competition. He left experienced sprinters far behind, powering down the track without even looking tired. His running form was close to perfect. Relaxed shoulders, high knees, and a strong drive. He didn't look like a junior athlete hoping to keep up. He looked like a pro putting on a masterclass. That 19.84 sent out a clear message. Gout Gout isn't just a young talent anymore. He's a real threat on the world stage. A weekend of insane speed. What makes this story even crazier is that the 19.84 wasn't an isolated flash of brilliance. Just days earlier, Gout ran a 100-meter dash in 9.99 seconds, also wind-assisted plus 3.5 meters per second and plus 2.6 meters per second in separate runs, but still a staggering time for someone who wasn't even old enough to vote. It marked him as one of the rare athletes with elite range across both the 100-meter and 200-meter sprints. And these weren't flukes. Gout had been quietly building toward this. Under the guidance of Coach Di Shepherd, he had been refining his technique and improving his speed through focused training and consistent progression. That weekend in Perth became a statement. Gout wasn't just a next big thing. He was already here, the Ostrava confirmation. But some people still wondered if his run in Perth was just a one-time thing, helped by the strong wind. That question got answered 2 months later on June 24, 2025 at the Golden Spike Meet in Ostrava, Czech Republic. This time, with perfectly legal wind conditions, Gout ran an incredible 20.02 seconds, setting a new Oceanian and Australian under-20 record. This proved that his Perth sprint wasn't just luck. It was a glimpse of what he can really do. At only 17, he was now running times that put him among the best, no matter where or when he raced. That's almost unheard of for someone his age. And it wasn't just his speed that stood out this time. His race strategy was brilliant. He ran the bend perfectly, kept his pace under control as he entered the straight, and finished strong with the calmness of a professional. Analysts couldn't stop talking about his running technique, and commentators were left asking the obvious question: just how fast can this kid go? Comparisons to legends. It's hard to watch a teenager dominate like this and not think about the legends. Usain Bolt is the first name that comes to mind, and now people are seriously comparing Gout to him. Bolt ran 19.93 seconds when he was 17. Gout ran 19.84, even though it was wind-aided, but then proved it wasn't a fluke with his legal 20.02 run. Both are tall with smooth, powerful strides and a calm presence on the track. Even Bolt noticed it and said Gout reminds him of his younger self. But at the same time, Gout is creating his own identity. He's quiet and humble, very different from the flashy celebrations we often see in sprinting. After winning, he doesn't jump around or show off. He just calmly walks back to his lane, taking in the moment. That mindset might really help him as more and more people around the world start watching his every move. The challenges ahead. No meteoric rise comes without pressure. For Gout, the challenge will be managing expectations while continuing to grow physically and mentally. He's still developing, still learning how to race, how to peak at the right times, how to recover between rounds. Injury prevention will be key. The history of sprinting is littered with young stars who flamed out due to mismanagement or burnout. But so far, Gout's team appears to be striking the right balance, allowing him to race sparingly but meaningfully, prioritizing long-term success over short-term glory. There's also the question of competition. With Paris 2024 already behind and Los Angeles 2028 in clear view, Gout's real test will come against the world's best in their prime. Ariane Knighton, Noah Lyles, and other elite sprinters are not standing still. To win at the global level, Gout will need not just talent, but the grit and consistency that define champions. An inspiration beyond the track. Beyond the stopwatch, Gout's story is already inspiring a new generation. For young Australians, especially those from migrant communities, he represents a dream realized. A kid from Logan, with roots in South Sudan, rising to become a world-class athlete on his own terms. He's already using his platform to highlight inclusivity and opportunity in sport. His presence is reshaping what the face of Australian athletics looks like and what's possible for kids from all backgrounds. In a country that hasn't historically been known for sprinting dominance, Gout is rewriting the narrative. The sprinting world has been warned. With every stride, Gout Gout is forcing the sprinting world to take notice. His 19.84 might not have been legal for records, but it was more than enough to prove a point. This teenager is a force of nature. He's not waiting for his turn, he's taking it. As the 2025 season rolls on and his performances stack up, the question now is not if he'll break records, it's when. His name is already echoing through track circles, media headlines, and fan forums. And he's just getting started.
Another really good start there, and they're away in this men's under 18 200-metre final. So we're about to wind him up and watch him go here. Gout Gout. He's already got the stagger, so he moves right on past Chase Grant, and now we really start to open him up. So let the legs loose and let the kid run. He is absolutely gone. He is Gout of this world. 20.07.
Wow.
That is not huge.
Gout Gout just did what everyone hoped wouldn't happen. He didn't just win, he destroyed the field. At only 17, he broke records, outran legends, and etched his name into history. People knew this day would come, but no one thought it'd be this soon. They were scared of the moment he'd take over. Well, that moment is here. The beginning of something unstoppable. From the very first steps on the track, those close to him knew there was something different about Gout. Born in Queensland, Australia, to South Sudanese parents who migrated in 2005, his journey started far from any spotlight. But even back at Ipswich Grammar School, teachers and coaches could see it. Quiet, focused, and unbelievably fast, he stood out, not just because he was quick, but because of the way he carried himself. He wasn't just another fast kid. He was the fast kid, and then came December 2024, the Australian All-Schools Championships. That was the day everything changed. At just 16, Gout ran the 200 meters in a mind-blowing 20.04 seconds. That wasn't just fast, it was history-breaking. He smashed Usain Bolt's under-18 record of 20.13 seconds, a record that had stood untouched for more than 20 years. In that single race, he didn't just beat history, he rewrote it. The record that echoed worldwide. Gout's 20th of April wasn't just a victory. It was a statement. He broke Peter Norman's 56-year-old Australian national record, and overnight, the world took notice. Track and field forums lit up, Olympic analysts started talking, and even Usain Bolt's own fans began to whisper, "Is this the one? Is Gout Gout the next sprinting phenomenon?" In a sport ruled by loud, larger-than-life stars, here was a quiet teenager with world-class speed and a calm, almost unbothered attitude. He didn't go looking for the spotlight, but the spotlight chased him anyway. Climbing higher in Perth. Then came April 2025, the Australian Athletics Championships in Perth, the 200-meter final. The stakes were higher than ever, and expectations were through the roof. But Gout Gout? He didn't even flinch, and he delivered the kind of performance athletes spend their whole lives dreaming about. He ran a jaw-dropping 19.84 seconds. The crowd erupted. Commentators were left speechless. But there was a twist. The tailwind was just slightly over the legal limit, plus 2.2 meters per second, just 0.2 over what would have made his time official. But honestly, it didn't matter, Because wind or no wind, that race made one thing clear. Gout Gout had arrived, respect and rivalry. But it wasn't just his speed that stole the headlines that day, it was what happened before the race even started. Lachlan Kennedy, Gout's biggest rival in Australia, false started. Disqualified before he could even take a step.